Okay. Oh, hey there. Hey, welcome back. Tuned up here, ready for another episode. Here we go. The 19, I don't even know. What is this? It's somewhere between an 89 and a 94, but...
That's embarrassing.
Edit that out. Okay, another Skyline. If you guys who have been watching the channel know, we did another R32. This one's slightly different. So a little different. I'm going to give you guys a good rundown on what I like or I dislike about this particular one, where the differences are between this and the other R32. But here's mainly what I want to try and give you guys. For anybody that is currently an owner of an R32 Skyline or is going to be an owner of R32 Skyline or is currently in the process of modifying an R32 Skyline, you're really curious how many times I'm going to say R32 Skyline and not have my tongue get all twisted up, but I'm doing pretty good out there. You got to give me that credit. This is a super sweet car. It was put together, they put their name on the side. Let me see if I can find it. Dyno-Comp tuned. Dyno-Comp tuned this car and everything else and built this car down in Arizona. So we'll start from the front, go to the back, talk about all the stuff. Here we go. Stay with us. Sweet car, built by a company down in Arizona, did an excellent job. Obviously every shop has their own slight way they like to do things, tweak things, set things up. And I'll talk about kind of with my experience of doing this for 20 years and just what I think is good or bad or whatever else. We all have our little things that we like to do, and I can tell you first off, number one thing I love about this car, it still has the AC. Thank you for doing that. Of course, we did say it came from Arizona, so I guess that's not that surprising. But so starting from the front, it's got a big old front mount intercooler, okay? And then we roll around. You can see obviously it has different intercooler piping, a tile 50 millimeter blow off valve. And then let's move to the exhaust side first. That's where a lot of the money has been spent. This has a raw brokerage, twin scroll, divided T4 with twin 44 millimeter tile wastegate turbo manifold. Sitting on top of it is a Gen 2 GTX 3582R turbo. Spools quick. That turbo is good for, oh man, I hate quoting numbers because you know the internet. Here, I'll just quote all the dynos then. Check this out, I'll do them all for you. This thing will make probably a solid 680 to 710 wheel on a Mustang dyno. So about 760 on a Dynajet, or about close to 800 on a Dynapat or Dyno Dynamics. So there you go, bam. I covered all the dynos and you got to see how the spread of dyno numbers is easily over 150 horse, depending on what dyno you use. So that's what's going on there. On this side, we have ID 1300 injectors, Tomei fuel rail. It's got dash 8 lines coming forward and dash 6 back. One of the things I like that they did, I do this on all the Supras that I do and the RBs, all this inline 6 motor right here. The rail is actually quite long. So unlike a V8 or a 4-cylinder motor where you're feeding it and it's basically this long, that would be the rail, the first 4 cylinders. The problem is these cylinders start eating up the fuel and the ones right here, they get starved. They don't get anything. What's nice about this is it's fed from the center out. So really it's divided into 3 and 3. You know, some people have said, hey, I've never done that and I don't have a problem, but you know what? I would say on an inline 6 motor, if somebody asked what would be the right way to do it and never have to experience any kind of starvation at the rail, I would say this is the right way to do it. Feed it at the center, go out, just like on Supras that you see that we do, and that's how I would do it. So pretty awesome. Then obviously rolls around to a fuel lab, fuel pressure regulator, and heads itself on back. This car, when we got it, they took it to a shop up in Orem called Nip and Tuck Performance, and they actually added all the fail-safes that I personally think you gotta have if you're into a highly modified car, and you're into, this is a fully built motor, fully built bottom end, fully built head, there's easily $15,000 to $20,000 in this motor. So why not have all the fuel, all the fail safes that a standalone ECU can offer? And this car is on a Haltech Platinum Pro, and it's been flex fueled. So that shop added flex fuel for me. They added a fuel pressure sensor for me. They added an oil pressure sensor for me. And now I can set up the car to be flex fueled. I can set a fail safe for fuel pressure, for oil pressure. Now that I can make it flex fueled, the owner can put whatever ethanol they want in the car. It'll take care of everything. We don't have to worry about the owner making a mistake and putting a weird blend of ethanol in it, and that's the end of it. It's good stuff. I love this car. We're going to drive it. We're going to talk about everything. I love the catch can setup they did here that comes around over to here. It's super clean. Here we go. Okay, hey, I got to show you the trunk. The trunk setup is pretty cool. It looks awesome. I mean, as much as that's going on up there, check this out, check this out. The slow reveal. Look, I'm opening it slow. Okay, there it is. That's hot. That's hot. Let's talk about it. So, there is a up pump, or whatever you want to call it, from the tank that fills up into the radium surge tank here. The surge tank, right, is also fed by the return fuel line and the pump. And it has an overflow that can go back to the tank if it's all the way filled. That then comes around through a 100 micron pre-filter into the radium setup here that then holds two Bosch 044 fuel pumps. They then come out of there with the dash 6. Well, they're fed right there. They come out, come around, and they actually will Y into a single 8 feed that then runs up in that dash 8 feed. So yeah, that's, so sorry, I was thinking about it backward, but it comes out, this is their intake sear, through there, swings around, and bada bing, bada boom.
That is sexy.
It does, it is sexy. It looks real good. Now I'm about to destroy the internet.
Oh no.
Here it goes. I don't like the setup.
Why not?
I know. All the fanboys now are getting pissed because you're thinking, dude, can you imagine being at a car show, bro? And you pop the hood like that, and all the girls come screaming over, ah! Actually, they won't, because the girls, Braden actually have no idea what this is, but you can imagine all of your fanboys out there, they're gonna come over and see this and be like, oh my goodness. On that other R32 Skyline you saw, I showed you that double pumper setup that was down in the tank with it had an Automotive 340 as its primary pump, and then it had a stage 525 as a secondary pump. That setup was super quiet, barely ever heard it, all down in the tank, fully submerged. The fuel is all around it, keeps everything nice and cool for the pumps to survive. Because it's a stage setup anyway, it's not really heating up, the fuel being down there in the first place. And like I said, it's super quiet, it's not annoying, it's awesome. You're gonna find out real quick when we ride around. This whines at you. You can, all the time, it's yeah.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah. And you can hear it. And yeah, but it looks awesome. But I said that I would share with you guys things that I would do different if, you know, this was my car. I wouldn't do this setup. For anybody out there that's thinking of doing this setup, look, I understand. Sometimes this is all you can do because you can't fit a double pumper or some sort of double setup down into the tank. But man, I would tell you, if at all possible, if you plan on street driving your car and you don't want to listen to in the back of your ear all the time, don't go with this setup. But anyway, here's what we're gonna do tonight. You ready for this, Braden?
I'm ready.
First off, I need to check the cold start maps. This car's, I finished tuning it on flex fuel. It's awesome. I slowly flexed it up. I checked everything. I'm up on the ethanol content now to about E61, E62, which on this car for the boost I'm running, I give it all the beans at that point. We're all in, baby. What we do need to check though is, I need to check cold start, and the car's totally cold right now, so I'm gonna be checking that. Cold start, I need to check in all my tip-in values on ethanol with the compensation table to make sure that when I tip in on that throttle, it doesn't just puke, or it doesn't go pig rich and spit a bunch of soot out the back. So I need to check those values as I'm bringing it up on temperature. And then I also need to check, because it's really cool outside, we're gonna put it on its highest boost setting that I have it on, which is about 27, 28 pounds. And I need to make sure it doesn't overboost. That's the other thing. If it's anything like earlier, when I was running it at about 24 pounds, I was getting pretty bad ignition breakup. So yeah, the stock coils, in this car, they're doing the best job they can, but they're pretty much giving up the ghost. So it's about time he's gonna have to move to one of those upgraded coil setups that you see. What's the one from Australia? I'll have to look it up. PCC. I hate it. I got a bad memory, people. I'm sorry about this. But the one from Australia where it basically does the coil pack right down in the middle with that are R32 GT-R coils. Killer upgrade. They're good for all the power. So yeah, let's do this. Let's get in the car. We're gonna start tuning it. Here we go. Okay.
Oh, wait a second. This is your side.
Oh, yeah.
This is true JDM.
You non-JDM people. Yeah, can you hear the pumps back there?
Ooh. Can you guys hear that?
Can you hear the pumps, B? Yeah.
I hear the pumps.
It's annoying, that's what it is. Yeah, annoying. Cold start, here we go. Okay, so I don't know if the camera's picking it up, Braden, but can you hear the whining?
Oh, that whine is loud. It's like a fly in your back seat.
Yeah, it's just like, so that's what I'm saying. That other R32 we drove that had that other setup in it from Australia, that setup was good for right around 1,000 wheel on E70, okay? And so I would say 0 drawbacks and all the fuel one could want, right? This setup with the twin 044s is good for probably, I want to be conservative and say 800, 825 wheel on a Mustang. And so less power than the other R32 and loud, annoyingly loud.
Now, because it's exposed in the trunk,
yeah,
and because he lives in Arizona with all that heat, is he more prone to issues with those pumps?
You know, I would think the fuel keeps him cool enough that it's not a big deal, you know, but that's an excellent question. I don't think the difference of, you know, obviously in Utah we'll get to 100 degrees or whatever, but I don't think the difference is going to be that drastic in Arizona with their 115 degree days that it's going to make that big a difference. But I don't know. I bet those guys down there in Arizona, they deal with a whole different set of tuning stuff than we do. So a lot of you guys are wondering, hey, if you bought this car and it was already tuned by some premier shop in Arizona, what's going on? Like, if you haven't tuned into the channel before, we live in Utah. We live up in the hills, okay? Salt Lake City, elevation-wise, is like 4,450 feet, but our DA is typically right around 6,800. So we're up in the sky. So cars, even if they're tuned, most cars tuned out of state don't work that well here. And cars that are tuned here that go somewhere else, typically I have to remote into them and do a couple little tweaks to get them to run right wherever they go. So yeah, that's just keep that in the back of your mind, internet. If you buy a car that's, you know, out of state and you bring it to your state, if the elevation is way different, you might have some stuff you got to work on. So, Braden, you want to feel second gear real quick?
Feel second gear.
Okay, here we go. Feel good?
Feels great.
Yeah.
Nice and smooth.
Yeah. Breaks up pretty bad. You can hear up top there, right around 7,500, it just gets spark blowout, starts breaking up. So
not enough coil for fuel.
Not enough coil.
Well, that's just sad. That's very sad.
Very sad. Yep.
Simple upgrade though, at least.
Yeah, all it takes is money.
So we both agree this thing just does not feel like the way it should. Like the butt dyno.
Yeah, the butt dyno's off on the car, but it's hard to tell with the amount of breakup. With the amount of breakup of the ignition, I just don't think I'm getting a full burn. So.
And one of the things we thought was weird was the RPMs on the gauge were getting high, but it didn't feel that high. Like, it didn't feel like it was really screaming at all, right? I mean,
yeah, so we'll need to look. I actually had another R32 that I did, and the tach did not keep up with what the motor was actually doing. So,
interesting. Is that more due to mechanical?
I would assume just an old tack and it just doesn't want to move as quickly. Would be my best guess. You know, I don't know 100% for sure.
A lazy tack.
But you can always, you know, I can look at the logs on the ECU, and it doesn't lie, and so it's telling me exactly where we're at based on the cam and crank sensor, and so. But yeah, sometimes the old tack doesn't keep up.
That's too bad. Never fail the E-juice, baby.
Yeah, so this should bring it up a little more, because like I said before, it was E61 or 62. This pump here, our local pumps E70, so.
And is that on a good day? Or is
pretty
that
much pumps E70. So it'll bring us up a skinch, but it's crazy. It takes a lot to get it. Watch, we'll go from like E61 to like E63. So yeah, it takes 3 or 4 fill-ups of being all the way empty and then bringing it back up to really get it all the way up there to that E70.
So if you fill it with a little bit of 91, maybe you're out somewhere and you need to get it to that point, does that bring down the level of ethanol
Right, yeah.
content?
So if we're on, let's say we're on E70 and I, you know, filled up with a gallon of 91, it'd probably bring me down to E64.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Look, I'm just asking for the people.
No, that's what I love. See, Braden is looking out for you guys. He asks the questions that, I don't know, they just seem to roll. Like for me, I'm like, well, doesn't everybody know that? But yeah, that's why that's good. You know, I sometimes forget, you know, that when somebody says E70, they don't understand that that's 70% ethanol and, 70% ethanol and 30% gasoline. So,
Look, I'm doing it for you guys. He dogs on you guys, but also brings the content.
yay,
So, here it is.
we're a good team.
Aww.
All right. Let's see where we're at now on the content. Fuel compensation. Scalar is not much higher at all. It's got to mix a little bit. It's still sitting right there at about E60, E61. The other thing is people think there's like this, you have to remember that overall the difference between pump gas and being on E100 is probably like 40%, 41% fueling difference. So then you're like, oh wow, it's a huge difference. Okay, fine. But remember then that the difference between like, you know, E60 and E70, that difference is probably only maybe 4% fueling. So at that point, if you like start driving off the car and the car's thinking it's E60, even though it's really blending itself all the way up to maybe E66, it's like, oh, it's going to be slightly off by 3-4%. The closed loop O2 feedback will take care of that anyway. It's not even a thing. Same thing if we were going the other way. If we were going the other way, and let's say I had E60 in the car, but I just filled up with pump, and it immediately shot me down to like E20. But in reality, after like 3 or 4 minutes of it mixing and going through, it'll actually take it from E20 down to like E14. It's like, guys, the difference there is negligible. So don't worry about it. The car's got it. It's going to figure it out. I mean, it's going to do its thing. It's going to idle perfect here like we're doing, and it's all good. Here we go. Let's go.
That was pretty good. You been practicing?
Oh, yeah. Ever since Mario Kart came out on Nintendo 64. I mean, shoot, who didn't enjoy their childhood just whacking away people with green and red turtle shells?
That was the game of the century.
That's why I still have it with all 4 controllers. I have busted out with my little boy, and we still have a good time with it. Although he cries when me and my wife smack him up good with the turtle shells.
These little kids just don't understand.
You know, we gotta toughen them up early and smack them around with the turtles.
I like it. It's a good way to let your kids
let them know that life is hard, and that's the way you gotta teach them resilience and perseverance.
Yeah, don't just hand them the win. These little kids don't deserve that.
No. You don't let them win at that Mario Kart. Yes, it feels great down low, but there's no breakup yet. Once that boost starts getting over 20, 21, it's like, No, spark blowout. So, yeah. Oh, that felt good. Here we go. Yeah, that felt good. good. Okay.
That feels great. It definitely, that spark blowout
No,
where
but
it
then,
cuts.
yeah, but then it's like you're cool and everything's good, and then you get spark blowouts. That felt good, right?
That feels great.
Yeah.
So ER's doing a few things with the tip-in here. Figured he'd drop me off because, I mean, you want to hear the flyby because this thing sounds good. Sounds great, other than that cutout.
Yeah, it does pull pretty good, but I was gonna say, could you hear it?
I could hear it. It doesn't sound as bad as it does, or like does and feels in the car.
Yeah, like you feel the loss of torque much more than maybe it sounds outside.
Yeah, outside, you can definitely tell, but it wasn't like...
Yes, I mean, well, and obviously I'm not, so when I tune these cars, I granny shift all the gears because I don't need to bang gears in customer cars. So obviously my shifts take 9 million years, but I'm wondering when the owner gets it, if he shifts the gear quicker and it comes into that boost quicker, I'm nervous there that it will break up even worse.
Oh, really?
When that occurs. So
that's a valid concern.
Man, above 7 though, this thing really pulls. Pulls great. Then, above 6. Above 6, it feels and then you really, really get the breakup and the hesitations above 7. So then it's like, boo.
Which, I mean,
and I looked at all my dwell settings and all my timetables for the coils, and they're all right for a factory coil. So there's nothing I can do there.
So how much power are you losing with that additional 1,000 RPM? Well, 600 RPM.
You're saying, what does the butt dyno say?
What does the butt dyno say?
Well, like you said yourself just a second ago, Braden, it's like, it doesn't sound as bad outside of the car as in the car. You can feel it, right? So now, obviously, my butt dyno has been calibrated to a high degree of accuracy.
Your butt dyno's been through the ringer.
Due just to the finite boniness of my scrawny, always seem to get beat up self. Yours with a little more padding is not as fine-tuned. I have no idea what I'm saying right now.
I think what you're saying is I need to do squats. I'm a little offended.
You need to do squats.
I'm a little offended. Call my...
I need to do some squats.
My butt soft? Come on. You've never felt it.
Now your wife is going to be sending me angry texts later. Oh, you can't see. Okay, I was about to say, for all you internet people that think driving a right-hand car is cool, we're about to see it. When I make this yielded left, normally to go up on the street, if there's a car on that other side, I cannot see. And so I just have to sit there, and usually the car behind me will be honking away, but I can't see past it. So for all those people like, oh, right-hand drive, it's so amazing. Look, it is what it is, but I wouldn't go out of my way to own a right-hand drive car. Like, certainly if I could get a Supra or a Skyline, if I could get an RX-7, if I could get that vehicle in a left-hand drive car, I'm getting it in a left-hand drive car. That's just where I'm at.
It's not worth that extra clout?
No, I mean, yeah, and I mean, you know, most of the internet probably hasn't driven a right-hand drive car, so let me just tell you, it certainly looks cool, but it's not as cool as you think it is.
But how dare you, JR? That's JDM.
How dare you? Oh my God. Oh. Okay, Brady, check it out. You probably didn't know, I don't know if you did or not, but we were actually rolling around on the street in a full Hoosier Slick on all fours. Now, this is the part where you're probably expecting me to say, dude, that must give you all the traction. But really what I want to say is, oh my goodness, if there is even slight moisture on the ground, we're all dead. We're all dead.
That's smooth as a baby's bottom right there.
Smooth as a baby's bottom, yeah. So, I don't know. I will see what obviously the owner bought it with these on the car. I don't think he'll just drive it around like this. I would assume he'd put regular street tires on it.
Especially at this time of year.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, you technically can drive around on this. It's going to wear and go quicker, but man, I just know like R888Rs in the rain can sometimes be a little dicey, and so a full slick in the rain, wow, that's going to be hydroplane, you're dead in 2 seconds kind of. I hope you have a good relationship with whoever you worship kind of deal right there. That's going to go quickly. Hey, I brought back the chair of poshness. So that's a wrap right there, Internet. What'd you think about that? Another R32 on the Haltech GTX 35R. Great turbo, spools quick, right? We're making, this turbo was all in on this 2.6 liter. We were all in by about 4,100 RPM, 3,900 RPM. So great street setup. Killer car. Awesome, handles great. Look, if you're in the market, if you love like 90s JDM rockstar cars, you've seen all the Supras that we've tuned on the channel, and you've seen the Skylines that we've done on the channel. Look, they're both awesome cars. I would say if you're looking for something to carve up canyons with, this is going to be my choice. If you're looking for something to be a highway warrior monster, a great GT cruiser, I would say the Supra is going to be my choice. But you know what? Here's the honest deal. You cannot go wrong with either. Both awesome cars. And hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Tuned Up. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment if there's anything. If you have any questions or anything you want to know about this car that we didn't cover, give us a thumbs up. And hey, we're going to see you on the next video.